Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of M.O.T.R Vapes. And if you're wondering what's a little bit different today as opposed to the other videos, well, it's because I'm wearing a bow tie. Alright, so I just want to do a little update from that Grtiffin tank that I did a review of there last week. I've had some time to actually break it down and go over, rewick it, put different coils into it, and use it up to the best of that tank's ability. And I can tell you, in just 1 week, the learning curve from using this tank that I have gotten is just amazing. I have learned how to wick it correctly. It is sucking up all the juice the way it should be, and it's working for me the way that this tank is supposed to be working. Now, what I have set up in this tank right now is the exact same setup that I have right here. If that camera will actually focus. And that's the exact same setup that I have in my tank right now. That is the wicking technique I have done. I've done some research on it. I've tried it out. I've tried it a couple different ways. And this just seems to be the best way to work it. You just shove your cotton inside. The edge is right there. But don't poke it right down. Just let her sit right there on top. Sure, if your tank runs a little bit low, she's not going to suck up quite as well. But still, some suction is going to allow that to come on up to it. As opposed to if you have it wicked all the way through down to the bottom like I did the very first time. And like I said when I did the first video, I'm nothing amazing when it comes to rebuilding these tanks. But in just the last week, I have progressed so much in doing this. And it's just time and it's effort. And for you guys that are newer out there and you're just starting to get into this sort of stuff, you always want to give yourself some time. Give yourself some practice for whatever you're doing. The first time I built coils, they sucked. I mean, they were garbage. 2 years ago, I was sitting down at a table going like, I am never going to do this. I cannot. This is not for me. Why did I waste all this money? And then after the 5th build I did, that one only turned out half decent. I won't lie to you. But I got the flavor from it, and I got a bit of the vapor, and I got a whole lot of burning. But it works. It does work. You just have to put in that time and effort. It's the same thing with your juices. Try your juices. Don't just take it and test it and be like, oh, that's garbage, and put it away. Try it a few more times. Keep trying it over and over again. Adjusting to the juices is another thing that I've found that works. But give it some effort. Don't let down on yourself. Don't feel bad if it doesn't work the first time. Just keep growing. This is what it's all about. It's a learning experience for everybody. So now with that said, I have that set up in this tank. My aliens are in here. She's wicking excellently. I'm getting no dry hits from this thing right now. The aliens, I'm using that at about, I'm feeling comfortable at 80. It's a nice cool vape, but I can pop that up to 110. And it's still a good vape. It gets a little bit warm there. I wish there was a little bit more airflow, but still, it's working like it should be. Flavor that's coming off this tank is just below RDTA standards, and I mean just a step below. Like, it is not very far off for being the exact same vape that I'm getting from any of my RDAs, and the vapor is still there. The vapor is exactly the same as the RDAs. It's just the taste is just muted just a smidge. I think it needs more airflow. I think that's what's going on for me. Just if I had more airflow, that'd be wicked. If they had a little chimney that went down from the top like the Heracles does, maybe shot back down in there and got some top airflow too, I think the flavor would pop on this thing excellently. But it does exactly what it needs to do, and I am thoroughly loving it. I almost lost my mind last night when I popped in that set of aliens and it came out to this, right? I was just like, yeah, I didn't realize this could happen from this tank. I was blown away by it. I had to call up a buddy and be like, hey, this thing is going like this. Yeah. And I'm completely satisfied with how this tank is running right now. And I'm sure that I'm going to be putting even more effort and more coils to try and maximize that flavor out of it. Because that's the only thing, that little drop down from the RDH style of flavoring. Also, I have noticed over the past week that this chamber right here, if you pick it up or you turn it, you will close off your airflow, and it doesn't actually take much to turn it, but it does swivel on this right here, so you can turn it as much as you want and line it up as much as you want. But if you do pick it up and you do choke off that flow, you're going to screw yourself, and you're going to screw yourself in a hard way. the last thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that this thing chews through juice. I mean, it chews through juice. I just refilled this thing like 5 minutes ago to the brim, and I am already down on juice. It does not take much to empty this entire thing. And if someone says that they're going through it, oh, well, that's lasting me a full day. Well, they're full of shit, because this thing just eats right through it. Like, I do understand that maybe you don't have such a big build in there, maybe it really isn't eating as much juice as mine is. I do have a big build in there, but still, you want a big build in there. You're going to want to maximize the effect of what this tank can do, and if you're doing any less than that, well, that's your prerogative, but it's not mine. But overall, I have to say, I'm very glad with this tank. I'm happy with it, and I really want to be doing more tanks like this and trying to rebuild them. Thanks, guys. Have an excellent day.